Hey there, beer tubers, and welcome back to Maxwell Star's Beer Reviews. And tonight we've got a panel of people here for you to do something that Lee Hogley Beer Reviews did on his channel for the last little while, where he was doing a beer analysis of various beers. Give me a second. Anyway, tonight we're going to take a look at Heineken Premium Lager. First things first, let's introduce the panel, starting with people on my left. On my left, your right, whatever. I'm going to introduce, first of all, Chad McGee. How you doing, albino rhino?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Not doing too bad.
Good to hear.
Next up is the average troll himself, Average Joe. How you doing?
Yes, hello.
That's all you can say for yourself. Just tell.
I'm glad I found out where the beer analysis was this week. I had no idea. I was looking around. I showed up. I'm happy. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. All right. Next up is Jamie in the basement.
Cheers. Thanks for having me, Nick.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I hope I don't screw up.
Yeah, I hope I don't screw up. Anyway. Next up is Greg Bielski. As in the promo video, you knew he was going to be here.
I'm featured.
You're featured this week, Greg Bielski.
I am.
All right.
I'm doing fantastic. I found out that someone at my work is spreading a rumor that I'm having sex with women at my work.
Okay.
I'm very okay with it. I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah, but it's probably not a rumor. Anyway, next up is formerly Basement Beer Review. It's now on the 10th. We got... What the hell is that noise?
Hello, my name is Chris.
Thanks.
And I was in the basement. Jamie is Basement Beer Reviews. I don't want to correct you on that one, Nick, but I had to. And now I'm on the 10th, and I'm glad to be here drinking this wonderful, wonderful beer. That's all.
Awesome. All right, and last but certainly not least, we got Craig from Kent Beer Reviews. How you doing?
Really keen to try. Not had this for a long time, and yeah, it's going to be a good beer.
Awesome. All right, so let's get down to the dirty here. Let's give a little bit of a history on this beer. Now, for those who don't already know, I mean, Heineken's pretty friggin' ubiquitous, but Heineken is a Euro-style pale lager brewed in the Amsterdam, the Netherlands. It's a similar kind of style beer to like the likes of Beck's, Grolsch, Stella, Birra Moretti, Kronenberg, Carlsberg. One of those standard European. It's basically the iconic Euro lager. It's probably the most well known of the whole bunch. As far as this beer goes, the ABV tends to vary around the world. In North America, it's commonly at 5% ABV, but I think it varies in certain spots. Like I believe in Ireland, it's 4.3%. If Good Greg is watching in the chat, he might be able to confirm whether or not that's true or not. But
I'm right here. Nick.
I'm not talking about the bad Greg. I'm the bad touch Greg. Yeah, right. Okay, anyway, so let's start out the history. Heineken's story begins with Gerard Adrian Heineken convinced his rich mother to buy him the De Hooiberg, the Haystack Brewery in Amsterdam. When he first bought the brewery, in spite of his entrepreneurial spirit, he knew nothing about brewing beer. Sounds like a lot of upstart brewers today. But finally, in 1873, he hired Dr. Ellen, which was a student of the legendary scientist Louis Pasteur, to develop what's now called the Heineken A yeast, which they've used since the late 1800s. It's a Bavarian-style bottom fermenting blah 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 lager yeast that they still use today. The pale Euro lager that resulted was a success, and two of the medals that they advertised on their label were medals that they won in the first one is Médaille d'Or, International Maritime Exhibition in Paris, May 1875. The other one is Diplôme d'Honneurs, or Honorary Diploma, at the International Colonial Expedition in Amsterdam, 1883. Obviously, they must have won awards since, but these they consider still prominent enough that almost 150 years after actually winning them. Either that or maybe it is the last awards they've ever won. Today, they make a few different styles of beer. In addition to the lager, they make a Heineken Old Bruin, make a Heineken Light, they make a 0.0 non-alcoholic beer, and they also make a Heineken Tarwebock, which is a Weizenbock style beer that I'd really love to find. Must be only available in New York. I guess Joe in the chat thought New York. In Europe. They must be in Europe. In addition, yes, hi, Joe. In addition, Heineken owns a number of additional brands from around the world, including they own Amstel, Birra Moretti, they own Red Stripe, they own Zwijk, a Polish brand, I think. Newcastle, George Killian's, Dos Equis, Tecate, Sol, Murphy's, and Strongbow. They've also notably acquired Lagunitas in 2015. And they also have, for distribution in, I believe it's all in North America, but at least Canada, they are distributed by Molson Coors, although I think if the bottles are to be believed, or the cans, we were discussing this before we went live, they're still brewed in Holland. So I really don't know. Maybe it's saying they're brewed in Holland and actually brewed by some distribution center, but for Molson, or maybe it's actually brewed here. I don't know. Is anybody in the comments? Go ahead. Anyway, without further ado, let's crack open our beers and we'll get down to the dirty here.
What exactly is the dirty?
Dirty?
Hey, you keep
beer,
referencing
probably.
the dirty.
Yes. I'm going to crack open two. Yep.
Releasing all these yeast esters.
I'm going to crack open two bottles here because I'm going to drink it out of my new dimple mug. I got a Heineken Montreal and Heineken Amsterdam label. And they kind of got this Amsterdam, like they kind of got the Heineken star logo with the skylines of the cities. Yeah, I know. I can smell the skunk.
And in case anybody watching cares about freshness date, I mean, I believe Nick is the only man that has a green bottle. The rest of us have cans. And before we went online, I think the oldest can.
And Joe's saying the rest of us are women.
Was
I heard it.
Jamie's, but it was actually Nick had the oldest of the bottles, but they're all relatively fresh, like 4 to 5 months old max. So we should be good.
Fine. Smells shit. Well,
oof, man.
Yeah, it doesn't smell so good.
Yeah, well.
Oh,
let's get our personal thoughts. Let's start with Chad.
Yeah, Chad.
What's your personal history with Heineken there, Albino Rhino?
Yeah, so this was one of the first beers I drank because it's a beer that my stepfather had in the house all the time, and it was green bottled, and I didn't care for it really. A few years down the road, I had it canned, and I had it. Oh, hush you! I had it canned, and I had it kegged, like off tap, and it tasted better. It didn't have that skunk to it. But now it seems like there's been this rumor for years that they've started adding chemicals in it to make it more sulfuric and more skunky when it's canned and kegged. And yeah, I'd say that's probably a little true because it does, even canned, have that little bit of skunkiness to it.
Weird.
I don't know.
That's a real odd thing if that's true.
It tastes like hard water. It tastes calcified. It tastes sulfuric. It tastes like what I expect from most import Euro lagers. I'm not a big fan of the Euro lager taste because of that. Yeah, it can be clean, but at the same time, I don't like that sulfuric taste. I do give it that this has a lot more prominent hoppy flavor than I remember. I don't know. It's okay.
What would you give it for your ratings?
Myself, I'd probably give it a 5.5. I mean, I could drink it if I had to. Stylistically, it's a quintessential Euro lager. I'd probably say it's probably a 9 stylistically.
Cool. All right, Joe, what do you think? What's your history with it?
My history is 0. Never had this beer before, honestly. When I got into craft beer, didn't really care for macro beer at all. So
that's on us.
That's certainly not on me. It's one of those things where I stayed away from macros. So the only macros I had were like the big boys in North America. Having this now, I'm actually enjoying it a little bit. I see where Chad's saying. I mean, it did. I'm cracking it open. Reason I didn't get the bottle was obviously the potential skunkiness. Cracking it open, pouring it, and smelling it, definitely had pretty big whiff of that, despite the fact that my can's relatively fresh and in a can. Taste, though, doesn't translate with the skunkiness. Kind of has this like almost bready, almost slight apple juice thing going on for me with grassy, a huge grassy like hop character, way more so than any other macro that I've had for the most part. I will say though, it has a substantial sweetness to it, which I wasn't anticipating, like a pretty big malt sweetness to it. I actually don't mind it. I haven't had a lot of Euro lagers, and if they taste like this, I probably prefer them over North American brewed macro lagers. I'm digging it. It's relatively cold, like super cold. Like Paul would probably punch me repeatedly cold. But at the same time,
cold.
it's like right out of the freezer. There's chunks of ice in it. Not really. It's pretty good. I would give it like a 6.5 for me, and that's pretty good for me. We're talking about all,
Is that 6.5 for you? What about there?
I'm gonna say 6. I'm gonna say 6. Let's just not let's like a crazy 6.5. We'll say 6. Stylistically, I haven't had a lot of experience, but we'll go with Chad's like 8.5, 9 range. I've had a couple Euro lagers, kind of similar. I do think this is a little bit better than the other ones I've had, though. So I'm not hating it. Actually, it's decent. So I'm happy, pleasantly surprised.
Nice. Jamie, what do you think? What's your history? What's your opinion?
It's one of those beers that I've never actually purchased a lot of it over the years. Usually when you go to a barbecue or something like that, this is the kind of beer that's going to be around. So over the years, I've had a few that were not good. Like maybe they were at the back of the fridge for 2 years and they tasted like a skunk. But this can that I'm having right now, it's enjoyable. And the last few times I've had it, it's been okay. If Euro lagers were the only beer available, I probably wouldn't drink a lot of beer. It's not my style. But if I would never not drink this again. I would buy it every once in a while. It's good fridge stocker, and once in a blue moon, it's good. It's the smell it doesn't really bother me. Doesn't translate to the taste, like Joe said. And I'd give it a 6.5. Stylistically, I don't know. Like, I don't have enough experience to say one way or another. But if Rhino says 9, then I'll say 9 too. Sure, 8, okay. 9, somewhere up there.
There you go. All right, moving on right along. Greg Bielski. How do you? What do you think?
Yes.
What's your history, and what is your opinion, sir?
Well, history. I have no idea when I've had this beer. I don't think I've ever purchased one until today for myself, but I've probably drank this beer hundreds of times. I'm sure it's one of the first beer I ever drank, probably when I was like 12, 13, 14, somewhere in that range. Just because it was something that was, but I didn't buy it for myself, so that doesn't count. Anyways, sorry, the peanut gallery's in the back. So again, I don't know when the first time I've had it. More recent times, to me, this is one of those beers that I drink a lot of, but I drink it in specific situations. Normally when I go to weddings and they have a Molson or a Labatt account or whoever the hell owns this, and they have a bunch of shitty beers like Molson Canadian or Budweiser, and then there's this, and this is a slight step up from those. Not a good beer, but in those situations, especially when you drink it directly from the bottle and you've already had 10 previous beers, this beer can actually be quite good. My rating for style, I don't know. I don't drink a lot of Euro lagers, but this one's not too bad. I mean, it's basically sweet with grass on the back, so I don't know. It's probably the style. 8 seems right and around the range. For me personally, I'm with Chad on this. 5.5. It's drinkable. Somebody gives it to me, fine, but I don't anticipate buying it ever again.
That's 5.5 out of 10, right?
No, 5.5 out of 5. This beer is the best beer ever.
So it's a 55 out of 5.
Obviously, Nick. Obviously.
All right. All right, Chris. What do you think? What's your experience and what's your opinion, sir? And you might want to unmute yourself.
That works better.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. Okay, so one time I bought this years ago in a bar, in a fridge that was pretty bright, and I opened up that bottle. So obviously I was served that bottle, and it was just pure skunkiness. And I thought to myself, oh fuck, if all green bottles are gonna be like this, then I'm gonna hate it. So because I like to, take a chance once in a while, I decided to purchase a big can over here for $31.50.
Nice.
Got the mini keg.
Not late struck.
Jesus,
Okay,
you
I
went
got
all
this
in.
guy. And
That's on you.
And it's on me. And let me tell you guys something. There's no skunkiness coming out of this keg whatsoever.
Never
The
seen
head
it
was
lighted
the
out.
head was nice. It was nice until I sucked it back. This tastes fantastic coming out of that mini keg right now. For Euro lagers, I like Euro lagers, like my Polish beers. I really like them a lot. I like the Slovenian beer. So I have a little bit of experience with Euro lagers, and for stylistically, this is way up there. This is really good. This is probably one of the better Euro lagers I've probably ever had, especially now coming out of that keg. I mean, I don't know. You guys are getting all kinds of skunkiness coming out of your cans and your bottles. None whatsoever coming out of this. And this is relatively fresh. This is, 205th day of this year put in that keg. And you know what? I really fucking like this. And I don't want to swear too much on your PG rating show there, Nick, but Euro lager stylistically, this is fantastic for style. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10 in style. And for taste, I'm going to, you know what? I'm going up a 7.5, 7.75 out of 10 on this one. I really enjoy this.
Ooh.
And you know what? I'm glad I bought this because it's not skunky. There's no skunky taste. It's got a great flavor and a wonderful head on it after I pour it. It's pretty smooth and frothy.
Awesome.
So that's
Great.
That's why I get it.
Nice. Jamie, I hope that you're keeping score of people's ratings here.
Yep.
Good. Excellent. All right. Lastly, let's go to Craig. Country reviews. What's your experience? What's your opinions, man?
Oh, how old am I? I'm just trying to work out when I first started drinking this.
Jesus.
So yeah, if you go on that, then yeah, probably the late 90s. I probably started drinking this on and off. Hello.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
No. So
We're
sometimes
just
I
muted.
no. Sometimes I cut out and I don't know when it's happening. So if
No, you're fine.
Oh, yeah. Internet.
So yeah, you know, I haven't got a gaming computer. So, but no, I kind of easy, Joe.
Settle down.
So I was going to say, yeah, settle down, calm down. So yeah, I mean, this beer I've been drinking for just shy of 20 years, on and off, just depending on what company I'm with. I was generally a lager drinker, so it's kind of a mixture of this, Foster's, Stella, Kronenberg, that kind of jazz, you know. This was an okay one. I prefer this over something like Carlsberg. Is it as a Euro style lager, whatever that means? It's run of the mill, you know. My beer of choice, slightly lower ABV than this. This is 5% ABV.
Is it?
Well, this one is anyway. So I don't know what everyone else's ABV is. Whether there's a difference between an export or what I can get here in Europe, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, this is a 500ml can. It's okay. It's not. To me, it's not nothing special. It's just a run-of-the-mill Euro-style lager. I was picking up a little bit of skunkiness as soon as I cracked the can, which is, for a can, I wasn't really expecting that. If I'd have got a bottle, I'd assume it would be more skunkiness with being in a green bottle. Obviously, this with the can being green, there's obviously it's going to be a bottle that's green. But no, as for a general kind of rating, to me, it's a little bit too skunky for me. For a general style lager, I think as a rating, perhaps in the style, for me, it's like a 4.5. Overall, a 5. It's just a standard regular lager.
That was That was 5 out of 10. I take it.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah. All right.
I think.
Yeah, there's like two
slightly-
different rating systems going on here where
Nick,
people are going.
Yeah,
I normally rate it.
I just want to
5, so-
clarify that nobody in
I
this
only
chat
rate
gave
it
one a
once,
5 out of
so-
5 ever.
Actually,
Whatever it is,
did
yeah.
you hear Chris?
Yeah, well, Chris doesn't count.
Yeah, but that's just for me. I mean, I've had better Euro lagers than this. It's an average Euro lager. It's not a great one. It's not. There's worse as well. So that's where I am with it. It's,
Yeah, no, I tend to kind of agree with you. I think as far as my history with this goes, I think the first time I ever had this, I don't really recall the first time I ever had this. I'm pretty sure I had at least one bottle or two back in like the early 2000s when I started, drinking alcohol in general. And it wasn't exactly, it was probably one of those ubiquitous styles of beer like Budweiser that was the reason why I never really got into beer in the first place way back then. It's just plain, it's basic, tastes like, watered down bread. These days, I don't mind it. I think the most memorable time I ever had had a Heineken was flying between Toronto and Edmonton in 2009. Had one on the airplane. I remember it, being the best beer on the plane because it was also the only beer on the plane, but it wasn't that bad. As far as right now, I'm finding it's easy. When I first opened it out of the bottle, of course I got that huge skunk whiff, but it dissipated. And drinking this, it's not super clean. Like as Chad was saying, it tastes like there's a little bit like a hard water taste, and I'm getting like a bit of a chalkiness to the mouthfeel. Otherwise, it's grassy, it's sweet, it's just goes down easy, and it's it's a drinkable beer. I mean, there's definitely better Euro lagers out there, but as far as a rating, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. I mean, I'm not super crazy about it. It's all right. As far as out of the style, 3.5 out of 5, just because I wish it was just a little bit cleaner than this. That chalkiness is kind of, and I think really I would have picked up on it anyway, but I think when Chad put it into words, it's like hard water. I'm like, hear the glass shattering in my head. I'm like, yeah, you're right, it is. Anyway, all right, so yeah, 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5 for the style. That's my opinion.
You're just confusing the viewers.
Yeah, I know. I'm just confusing the viewers. I'm confusing myself.
So we'll say 6 out of 10 for impersonal enjoyment, and then 7 out of 10 for the style. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's an interesting one.
So
it's an interesting one to try again.
Yeah. Exactly. If you're handed to it, it's not exactly something I would turn down. I'd drink it if somebody gave it to me.
No, for sure. I mean, it's. I think we'd all agree it's not a bad beer by any stretch of the imagination. It's drinkable. I know that's dumb to say. I know the whole spiel about it obviously is drinkable. It's decent. I will say though, drinking, I have consumed the can, and it is highly carbonated, even though it doesn't feel like it in the mouth. But like, it's super gassy. I've burped like a half dozen times already, which is a rarity.
It's a good thing we have a mute button.
Yeah, well, it's very gassy, and I'm not a fan of that. But what are you gonna do?
Now, that is one thing I noticed that people were talking about is the percentage. So, what is the ABV on everybody's bottles? Mine's 5. I'm assuming everybody else is 5 as well.
5.
5.
Yeah, even in the UK.
Yep, 5.
5. Yeah.
Let me check this keg here.
I don't know where I get. Like I read up online and it said I think I saw a reference somewhere where in Ireland it's 4.3, but maybe that's just a one-off thing.
Well, if
now,
the Greg was here, we could ask him.
Yeah, really. Or he in the chat. I don't think he is.
Is it 5? Is it 5? Where's Greg? Is it 5?
5 for me. Yeah.
No, not Craig. Greg. But you're both.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Where's
Greg.
Okay. Other people with your name.
From Ireland.
Oh dear.
Anyway, yeah. So let's move on. Price. How much did everybody pay for their can?
$3.
Bottle? $3.
Too much.
All right. Well, I paid $31.50 for this mini keg of 5 liters, and if you buy
that's on you.
At the LCBO, if you buy 6-pack of bottles, it's $14.50. So it's actually cheaper to buy this mini keg with 15 bottles in it, basically, than it is to buy the.
Are you advising people to spend their hard-earned money at the LCBO buying mini kegs of Heineken?
You know what? You know what? The other reason I bought this mini keg is because I remember when the Bubba's came out with the Coors Light and the Canadian. You guys know I'm a huge Coors Light fan. So I used to buy the Bubba's and I loved them. They were fantastic. And I was like, you know what? I kind of wish they brought them back. I don't know if you can still get them or not. I don't know. Chad might know that or not. But so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try this mini keg, and I did. And you know what? I don't regret it at all. This is going to sit in my fridge, over the next few days, and it'll be gone. Probably going to drink this.
See, that actually sounds like a good deal there. Like if it's $31 for that keg and it's $28 for a 12-pack of cans or something. But I mean, here in New Brunswick, it's $39.99 for that keg, but it's only $28 for the 12-pack. And I think the cans in the 12-pack here is on sale right now, like $5 off. So it's a lopsided. Like it's almost half price now for the 12-pack of cans than it is for the kegs. But I guess it all depends on your value too. Now,
it depends on your value and your sales, obviously, because here Heineken's not on sale, right? So it's like it's cheap.
Now, speaking of value, Joe, how much did you pay for yours, sir?
This makes me sick.
Well, these are 500 ml cans, and they were an extremely expensive $4.99 for the 4-pack.
Fuck's sake!
Yeah, I mean,
damn.
I bought a 4-pack. The only reason is wasn't going to run anywhere special to get a single bottle. Went to my local grocery store, Wegmans. In their fridge, they had 22-ounce bottles, green bottles, hanging out in light. Wasn't going to spend $2 to buy something that was most likely going to be pretty skunky. Well, whatever. I mean, I don't hate it. Yeah, and I don't hate it, so it'll go in my fridge, and maybe I'll drink one every month or something. But I'm not just going to least. And for $1.25 a can, I mean, whatever. Not a big deal.
I'm going to tell you until your channel gets up and running, you'll be fine.
Yeah, sure. I'll do. Heineken will be my first ever review. Should be a lot of fun.
Next week's beer analysis is going to be on Joe's channel.
Probably not.
No,
probably not.
And Craig, didn't you say that you paid something ridiculously cheap for yours as well?
One
can,
Craig did, and it was £1.29 for a 500 ml.
Which translates to about
that's still under $2 Canadian.
Yeah, it's about $1.60 American and about $2 Canadian. Give or take.
Yeah, which is very expensive. So.
Yeah, super expensive.
2 bottles, like the one green bottle by itself, I bought for $3.35 here Canadian. So if you were to, I think like a 6-pack of these, it's like
if you go to local bars around here, a bottle of Heineken is maybe $4.50 a bottle. So you're almost paying bar prices for that. Okay.
I walked 40 yards to buy this as well. So.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like at $3.35, I can think of all kinds of craft beers that I'd rather buy than this. Like Brasserie de Petit Saut here in New Brunswick, craft brewery up in Edmonton, NB, northern New Brunswick. It's like still less than $3 to think a bottle for a $3.50.
Well, if the 500 Ontario, if it's $3 for this can, I can buy a ton of beers that are either cheaper or within 10 cents of what this costs that are way better.
And that's what non-Canadians who will watch this don't realize is that you guys get reamed hard when it comes to basically everything non-craft when it comes to beer. It's unfortunate, but I mean,
see, that's not true though, Joe, because we can get there's a lot of Polish Euro lagers that are frankly as good or better than this. Yeah, and they're like 205.
Nobody talks about Polish anything, let alone beer. Just
Żywiec is sitting around 210 right now.
And it's going to sit.
I think the cans here, the 500 ml cans here in New Brunswick are like $3.65 or something like that. So it's still a lot more than you guys are paying.
But the sad reality is you can go get Nickelbrook headstock, which granted is not even close to anything.
I can't.
No, I'm talking about Greg, and for around the same price, and it's a vast superior beer, higher ABV.
But even if you just want just a lager, this is basically the same price as Steam Whistle, and it's a lot better than Steam.
Nobody likes Steam Whistle.
Much worse than Steam Whistle. No, Lee doesn't like Steam Whistle. But this is a new channel. It's not Lee's show anymore. We are okay to like Steam Whistle.
Oh boy. there's a
Nick, lead the revolution.
You need to stop grooming us to hate Lee, okay, Greg?
Yeah.
Hey, when I stopped at Steam Whistle in Ontario, I actually really liked the experience, especially trying the Steam Whistle Plus.
Okay, well, just wrap it up.
Anyway, no, I'm not going Chris Peters here.
Enough with the Steam Whistle.
Hey, Joe, Steam Whistle Plus, that's where I got to cut it off. Steam Whistle Plus.
Settle down, Joe.
You're getting yourself in a pickle. You're getting yourself in a pickle.
Get myself in a pickle.
Wait,
Anyway,
the comments.
All right, I move on to the comments. Anybody chatting there?
Joe, you want to take over the comments on this?
Oh, my.
Yeah, Joe, you read the shitter than like Canadian beer news.
Okay, Lee says, don't F this up. I don't think we did.
Oh.
And then Nick says he preemptively blames Greg, which I think we all do.
That's probably a good instinct on your part.
Fair enough.
Lee says, don't let Macho Man down. He believes in you as long as I keep paying him.
The Hogan's going to beat him at SummerSlam.
Yeah, raining on your parades here. He says, Nick pretty much is Macho Man. Watch out for the MFer, Lee.
Yeah.
I hear he's the reigning trivia champion, too. That's just what I've heard.
Then Lee says, raining on your parade, Nick is more like a Ric Flair, who apparently had a massive member as well.
Whoa!
Back at the beginning of the
chat, Ric Flair.
he did back at the beginning of the chat when I believe Chris muted Chad because Boris was growling in the background. Jace Westcott says, "Boris, you shut the f up." JK.
Chad just had spicy Mexican food tonight. That wasn't Boris.
Then he continues with he notices the beer store in Canada stopped carrying the 710 milliliter torpedo cans.
That's
Rainy
probably
Eye
a good thing.
Rainy Wait, what? Why? Why don't you want 710 milliliters of awesomeness?
Tamers, I don't want a liter of chilada.
No, it's still no. Yeah, you do. Raining on Your Parade says, did not realize it, but it has been mega years since I've had this. I'm drinking a 12-ounce bottle, and it's just like I remember it. This is a great ... taste clean to me, and the head is great. He also continues with, he gets some skunk that he does not believe is coming from the green bottle. He likes it, and it's warming up good. Jace Westcott continues with, I think a lot more people would be on board with this beer if it wasn't $3 for a 500 milliliter can. It's always had that premium pricing. Raining Eye Parade said he paid $8.99 a six-pack bottle in the U.S. I believe he is located in the state of Maine. Pretty sure Raining Eye Parade's in Maine. He also says Beck's now sucks. It is brewed in America now. And then Raining Eye Parade started talking about different beer from Lagunitas. Born yesterday, he's drinking. And that's pretty much it. Jace Westcott says $3 is more than Molson, Budweiser, Moosehead, etc. And then Lee finishes with, well done, noobs. And then he also said for Greg, you're allowed to be wrong on my show, too.
I'm allowed to be wrong on everyone's show.
That's true. So
it rarely happens, but
you're rarely right.
Yeah. So thanks to Jace Westcott and Raining on Your Parade and Lee for the comments.
Live comments. Other viewers. Thank you, viewers.
Other viewers who
I would be pushed to find a craft beer in the UK for £1.29.
Yeah, you guys in the UK and the US get kind of screwed with craft. It looks like.
I mean,
well,
if I want some Sam Adams,
it's more expensive.
Well, I know you got being on it.
Well,
I mean,
depending where the craft comes from, I guess. Maybe.
But I'm quite happy with that, to be fair.
Well,
I think final thoughts for me. It's the Heineken's. It's good Euro lager. It's solid. Nothing wrong with it.
By the way, congratulations, Joe, on having it for the first time tonight.
Thank you very much. I bought my Heineken Sherry. I'm so excited to have 3 more in the fridge that I won't drink.
That's how you said Heineken
maybe
Sherry for a second.
Well, maybe one.
I'll see if my my sink and my toilet are thirsty. Probably at different times.
I look forward to the review anyway. Whatever.
You'll be looking forward to a long time.
Joe's first review on his channel.
Long time. Is that an Eastern European kind of or?
What we should do is we should take tonight's analysis, isolate the parts that Joe does, and just upload it to a channel called Average Joe's Beer Reviews.
We need to do that.
Yeah, Jamie, you're on point.
Yeah.
Oh, Jamie, collaborative rating. What do you got for us?
I didn't do the math, but it's about a 6. Everyone gave it close to a 6 for the most part. So
I jacked that fucking rating up too. I love it.
Yeah, I see. It's giving us 7.75. Sorry, there's not quarter ratings when we're talking out of 10, buddy. Come on, Chris.
It's more accurate.
This isn't Chad's channel.
And after this, tune into on the 10th. He's going to be doing a Edwards Heine keg hands, where he's going to tape one.
He's going
to each hand.
Totally finish that. He's going to totally finish that keg tonight.
And he has 48 hours to finish it.
Did you have 4 pint glasses? Because if you do, Chris, we can do the Heineken Gauntlet. Yeah, Heineken Gauntlet. Go time.
No.
Bye.
No, we're not. No, maybe.
No.
All right, Nick turned his back to the show because that's the kind of leader he is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I guess my
you forgot that, didn't you?
Yeah. No, I was trying to get a picture.
I couldn't hold that in. All right.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I guess my final thoughts are kind of like those. I think it's
I have one of these.
Decent beer. I just think as far as Eurolager, yeah, that's a better one right there. Damn.
Yeah,
arguably.
Yeah. All right.
That's got Gandalf on it.
Yeah. It's just
I thought it was Paul.
Anyway.
Paul Peter Brunos.
Yeah,
my personal thoughts on it. Settle down, Joe.
We'll wrap it up.
Yep. I am.
Oh, we're gonna even get Chad's final thoughts on that too. Come on, Chad. What's going on?
Yeah, we did get Chad. What do you have for final thoughts?
Yeah, his final
He's
thoughts.
shaking his head.
There's none.
There's really none. I mean, it's Heineken. Final thoughts done. Heineken, we're good.
Well, my final thoughts. I haven't finished it because Joe won't settle down.
I'm sorry. You
if you're at a wedding, drink 10 of them, you'll be good.
Well,
pretty much. Yeah. I think as far as Eurolagers go, this is one of the lowest ones that I would actually go for. I would go for. I don't think I'd go for a Beck's, but I would go for a Stella or a Grolsch over this for sure.
Oh,
but
Stella is making very good.
We're gonna have to do a Stella's coming up.
Yeah, I'm down.
Actually, I wouldn't mind doing Stella. Anyway, we'll have to decide what we're gonna do next week. In the meantime, what's the last couple comments?
Whose channel will it be on next week? Will it be
Lee's? Lee will be back or not?
Rating on your parade said.
You know what? If he doesn't host anything next week, I will. So
the last 2 comments, if you want me to read them real quick, Nick, to be done with it. Rating on your parade says, "I bet that keg that on the 10th has is great."
It is great.
Well, I don't know what your definition of a great is, but
interesting thing on this keg is that it has a little thermometer on here. It says chill thermometer till it turns blue, right here on the side here. And as it's sitting on top of my fridge here, the thermometer is
anything with the taste
warming up. So it's like the Nick.
It must be true. It must be true.
It's actually going down the thermometer because as I'm drinking it, it's getting warmer on top. Obviously.
You sure there's not mountains on there somewhere?
No, there's no mountains on here.
I gotta put this back. Color? It's an actual thermometer. Or is it changing color?
I gotta put this back in.
He said it's an actual thermometer. What is happening? What is?
It's like a changing thermometer.
All right.
And Chris, Chris, if you look at the top, there's actually a handle there. That's for heaving it off your balcony.
Yeah.
At 2 in the morning.
Actually, I was carrying it, and it's pretty late now.
But it's not. It's off the 10th floor.
Or I've been working out.
Just remember, once you finish it, you can make a homemade fleshlight out of it.
All right.
There you go. All right. With that in mind, everybody.
This last comment, and it's drunken when he says, "I'm trying to, but people were talking about temperatures."
And fleshlights.
It's just drunken when he says, "It's all my beer heroes." That's it. Whatever. We're done.
Hero. All right.
Thanks, drunken.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for watching. That's this turned out to be an all right night. Even
thank you for hosting
Greg on the panel. Thank you for watching the Maxwell Star and Greg Bielski show.
Yeah.
I mentioned. All right.
Next week it's going to be on Rating on Your Parade's channel.
Drunken One says thanks, Joe, and we will chat with you folks later. Cheers.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Bye, guys.
Motherfuckers.